All right.
Well, thanks for having me, Justin.
Yeah. Welcome back to Friends in Austin. Today I've got Matty Mayer on the podcast. We met at Soco, the apartment complex I mentioned in the last episode. And when did you first move there?
I moved to Soco. It would have been around November of going on 5 years ago.
5 years ago? Okay.
Yeah. So 2016, actually, 2015.
Yeah. So you lived there for 5 years, then you moved away, then you came back, right?
Well, I was here for 3 years, and then I went to Florida for the summer, and then came back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you lived in a bunch of places, right?
Lots of places. Yeah, all 50 states. I've been to all 50, and I've lived California, New York City, Vancouver, Europe, Brazil, Caribbean, Hawaii.
Have you always just been a nomad? Like, when did you start moving around so much?
I was about 5.
About 5? Did your parents move a lot?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were they in the military or something?
No. It's freelancers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you lived in Hawaii for a while, right? On a boat?
Yes, I moved here from Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How long
After 4 years on my sailboat in Waikiki. Yeah.
Okay. So you lived on your sailboat for 4 years in Waikiki.
Yes.
And you would just kind of go out sailing sometimes and come back and just live on the boat docked. And,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was. I had a nice slip and with shore power and shore water and part of the Hawaii Yacht Club and
How was
Waikiki.
How was it? I mean,
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How were the locals? Were they cool?
I don't know locals.
Yeah.
Like local living there or local born there.
I don't know. I guess I meant local born there.
Born there. Yeah. I wasn't born there either.
Yeah. I'm just
kind of territorial.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, I've always found everywhere I've been, everywhere. And Maine was my 50th state, in 2001. There's good people that are locals everywhere,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I really appreciate the Austinites that let all us transients kind of come in and like drive up the housing prices,
drive them way up.
gentrification and all of that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, so, local Austin people, they're pretty cool.
They are cool.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing you hear about, you hear rumor or whatever if you watch videos on YouTube, like, oh, people in Austin don't like people moving there. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I mean, I have at least 3 friends that are from Austin and
they're fine.
Yeah.
We have Jake, that's, born and raised.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a good spot. And I just needed some shore leave. I was tired of living on the boat. I wanted dirt and fire and live music.
I can imagine that. It would get
and
a little...
I missed Tex-Mex.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have Tex-Mex in Hawaii.
I don't imagine they would. So were you working while you were living in Hawaii when you're on this boat or not?
Yes, I was with Hawaiian Airlines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cybersecurity.
Yeah, I was going to say you do information security, cybersecurity.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And so did you have satellite internet or did you have Wi-Fi to something?
You mean
when you were on the boat?
I didn't work from the boat.
Okay.
Yeah,
you would go elsewhere and work.
Yeah, I worked at the airport.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Every day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was there like an office there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Corporate offices as well as operations centers.
Mm-hmm. So do you have to have a government clearance or whatever? I mean, it's not necessarily government. It's cybersecurity for an airline.
Yeah, you've got to have some, background checks and all of that.
Okay. Yeah.
And I had an FAA badge so I could get anywhere in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you get any discounts on flights?
Yeah, free.
Free? Really?
Yeah, free flights.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I actually traded a Subaru Outback Legacy wagon to a buddy of mine. He was a project manager taking a year off. So I traded him my buddy pass, my significant other.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't have to be with him, and he can fly anywhere free without
for a
me.
vehicle.
Yeah, for a Subaru Outback wagon. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. My buddy Mark, he's a good guy.
Cool. And
he was my boat neighbor. When you live on a boat in a marina, you really learn about your neighbors. Very, you're just watching out for each other's boats. It's kind of like a real,
tight-knit group.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So were your slip neighbors?
Yeah.
Cool?
Yeah. So it was fun. I've had boats in the Caribbean. I lived in the Caribbean 5 years and had several boats there in Florida, Vancouver, British Columbia.
Cool.
And 3 boats in Hawaii.
So you love boating or sailing.
It's a love-hate relationship. No, it's mostly love.
Yeah. I mean, you have that sailboat too that you have on Town Lake now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Are you, Barb said you were looking to sell it.
I may.
Yeah. And you're going to be moving, right? You gonna leave Austin?
I believe so, yeah.
Why and where are you going?
I'm headed to North Carolina, actually, to Asheville.
What about Asheville are you interested in?
Clean air, lots of waterfalls, lots of fresh water, leaves changing, 4 seasons. Just a change of pace.
Yeah.
I grew up in Montana.
Nice. Montana seems beautiful. I want to visit.
Montana's a pretty cool place to grow up in. I didn't step foot on a sailboat until I was 16.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of kayaking and rafting and snow skiing and mountain biking and dirt biking.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I love Montana.
And I mean, I imagine the housing prices in Asheville are probably better than Austin.
Yes.
You gonna get a property out there?
You have to ask my wife.
Have you been married before?
Yes. I was married from the time I was 30 till I was 35. Yeah. I don't have any children.
Yeah.
And that was been 25 years ago.
So how old are you now?
58.
58? Okay. So
1961. Represent 61.
I love that shirt.
Thank you.
2020 does suck. Where did you get that? Did you get that online?
Tom's
Market? Oh yeah, it is a Tom's Market shirt. That's awesome. That's great. I have a little patch that I got from Tom's Market that's that bear on my swim trunks that he's just got this weird look on his face and it says, I think the shrooms are kicking in. Yeah.
I do recall that.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. They got some weird stuff.
Yeah, they do.
So you were married from 30 to 35. Why so long before you got married again? Were you kind of like over it? Just kind of the idea of it?
I really, it wasn't that I was over it. It was just kind of, I wanted to go exploring.
And that's when you started traveling maybe even more than you previously were?
Lots more. Yeah, I traveled a lot up until 30. I had lived in the Caribbean. I tended bar in Montana and St. Croix, Virgin Islands, and taught windsurfing on St. John and the Virgin Islands. And
so you weren't always doing cybersecurity. You were like moving around and doing jobs where you were?
I didn't start cybersecurity really until about 2020.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's pretty recent.
Yeah, 20 years. You could have been the most awesome cybersecurity guy 20 years ago. You don't know shit now. It just changes that fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Things do change quick.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so went to college, studied geology at the University of Montana in Missoula, and then from there moved down to the Caribbean and lived on St. Croix and St. Thomas and St. John, and then moved to California to Lake Tahoe. I attended bar at Squaw Valley for a winter season.
Cool.
In Tahoe, and then went up to British Columbia for the summer. For the World's Fair, sold T-shirts, designed a cool T-shirt, took them across the border into British Columbia, and then went back to the Caribbean for another year.
Was that your favorite spot, Caribbean?
The things change over time. I think they were all my favorite spots.
Yeah.
Come to think of it.
So you just had to make new friends every time, right? How long would you stay at a place?
Well, like when I lived in Greenwich Village in New York, I was there for a year. I worked there in New York City. And before that, I lived in Vancouver, BC, and I had friends there and friends from New York that I'm still in touch with, like even friends from Austin that I hope to stay in touch with.
Yeah,
as you go through life.
You got any tips for people that are wanting to travel? I want to travel before I get married and have kids, which, I mean, I'm not even really in a relationship right now, so it's not too close in the future, but I do want to.
You never know, man. Stuff could strike out of the blue.
That's funny.
Any tips?
Yeah, any tips for traveling?
Well, I don't know enough about what you'd like to have happen.
I don't know. I just want to go live in a different country, maybe South America.
You want to go live?
I want to go live in a different country for.
So not a travel like a 1 month soiree, but an actual like.
Actually, I don't know. I could do either one. I was first considering like 6 to 12 months just in the same place, you know, and then I just do the same job.
Yeah,
that I do.
You can totally do that.
Yeah.
You know, I've been on 5 continents and almost 40 countries, and you know, I could, you know, recommend any of them at any given time.
You've been to Japan?
Yeah.
I want to go to Japan really bad. I heard it's the closest you can get to feeling like a complete alien, but still feel pretty safe.
Well, I guess as long as you got a camera and you just take lots of photos, you'll fit right in. You know, you can go swimming with the monkeys up in the northern islands.
What?
Right? You've seen the monkeys that swim in the hot saunas in northern Japan?
No.
Like the snow is coming down and they're in like a geothermal springs. And the monkeys are just chilling out, and it's a good photo op.
That's great. That's great. I'd be scared to get too close to any monkey.
Oh, I know. They're freaky. But you like the photography and everything. So I suppose in Japan you could cover both the natural beauty and the architectural and the beauty of society, and you could, you know, get crammed on a bullet train for an hour and a half going somewhere.
Yeah, you know. It seems like every time I talk to you, you are got some kind of business idea. Have you been into entrepreneurship before, or is this something that you're interested in now? I mean, you sold those T-shirts and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, but I've done other entrepreneurial things. Sure.
Yeah. What kind of stuff have you gotten into?
But, yeah, not a lot of, you know, a few things entrepreneurial, but really I just like... I like getting paid by a big company and just getting the cash and getting to have my way.
Yeah.
It's hard to have your own company. It's very hard.
For sure.
So I asked my wife if I could start an online dating company. So she says, yeah, if you want.
What kind of online dating thing would you start?
Not sure.
Not sure? Why dating?
Because it makes money. You help people. If you have the right niche, I don't know.
Yeah.
Try it.
I agree with that. I mean, the right niche could be good. Also, it's like, it's a problem that many people have tried to solve, but I don't feel like anyone has.
I think you have to have a very narrow and a very deep focus.
I've heard of a company that like, basically you pay them and then they do all the work on all the apps, and then they say, hey, you have a date this day with this person. Like, you give them criteria. Then you don't have to get on any of the apps or do anything like that.
Huh.
I thought that sounded cool. I've never tried it. I think it's like $800.
Yeah, this is $24 for a year. And it's very professionally focused.
Like trying to match people up that are
real estate agents or something like that.
Oh,
but
gotcha.
It's not real estate agents, but you know, like a very narrow profession.
I got you.
Yeah.
So, how worried are you about COVID?
Well, I have a feeling that you know, we'll have a UFO encounter and it'll drop off the vaccine.
I hope so.
So I think that, you know, UFOs will just come and drop off a COVID vaccine for us.
This past couple of years has been really big in UFO news. I don't
for
know.
Real?
Oh yeah, man.
Serious?
Oh yeah. There's more than one head of government programs from different countries that have come out and said, hey, I was in charge of a UFO program. What we did is we took data from sightings that were on video, radar from planes.
Right. Testimonials from pilots or whatever.
Yeah, and then whatever data they could actually get a hold of outside of just a person's, you know, saying that they saw this, and they could run calculations on the speed at which the craft was moving, what direction it was going, and the guy, I think it was the guy out of Britain that said flat out, he wouldn't say for sure when he was on the news because he didn't want to sound like a total kook, but he said there's very strong evidence that we're not alone based on this program that ran for years, you know, that they eventually shut down.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy, isn't it?
It is trippy, but To me, it's like I'm not surprised. I mean, who knows how long they've been here? We can't be the only intelligent life in the universe or the galaxy.
Think so.
I wouldn't think so, man.
So,
it's like really.
All of that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just glad to be here.
Me too.
And if they can drop off a vaccine for COVID, thanks.
I've heard that
they just, I don't know.
I've heard they've tampered with nuclear power plants and weapon sites. I've heard stuff like that. I didn't really look too deep into it. That doesn't surprise me. So like, yeah.
I'm just, all the pharmaceuticals are working hard. They're trying to, get that vaccine going and then holy moly. Got an election coming up.
Oh God!
What the?
I'm not looking for it. I hate election time because I hate all the shit. All you hear is people talking about it, and that in combination with
the other calamity
that's gone on this year. This year's fucking crazy,
calamity,
dude. It's insane.
Like survival. Gosh,
who knows how much worse it'll get? I mean. I was bummed out when they had to close the bars again. I mean, I know people that it's like they just started working again.
I know, and then, it's very sad.
And then all these, I can't imagine half these bars will even still be open in a year. I think that there's just going to be a bunch of empty businesses all about downtown Austin and every other city in the United States.
Yeah, I think about the kids that are like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And they're like, now everyone that's walking around has a mask on. You imagine me 6 years old or 7, and for a while it was cool. You could see people's face, and now it's like everybody's got a mask on, and you can't go to school.
Yeah,
I can't go to school, Mama, and everybody got to wear a mask. This is lame.
Yeah,
and so that could be at 7, and then what do you do when you're like 12 or 13? Right? How do you come to grips with it? Or now you're 16.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to go to the Steak and Shake or the Dairy Queen and hang out in the drive-in, and meet people. You can't do that.
Yeah,
it's a bummer.
It's weird. And then people are paying to go to colleges. Someone told me that this one particular college was, getting people to enroll in all this stuff and acting like the classes were going to be in person, but behind the scenes, they know that they're not going to be in person. And I mean, why would you pay so much? I think the college education is already insanely overpriced. I don't understand why you can't just record an entire course and then just have them watch it and then have an instructor just do Q&A. Like, why even go to a lecture? Why spend all the money? And why does it cost so much? You can record all this stuff once and then
I agree.
Take it online.
I agree 100%.
It should hardly cost anything. I mean, the price of doing that is almost nothing.
Yeah, I agree. It's, it used to be you'd have a university because you had a great library.
Yeah. Now you got a great library in your hand.
Bing, you have a library everywhere. So you don't even have to worry about the Dewey Decimal System or anything, to get to it.
Yeah. How was college in Montana?
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Missoula is a beautiful town. We had 8,000 students.
Yeah, it's a fairly small school.
Yeah, 8,000. State university.
Mm-hmm. What'd you study? You said
geology.
Geology, yeah. And you didn't really go into geology, did you?
No.
Why not?
It was all oil business.
All oil business?
Oil business. It's all oil business. Yeah. And I just wasn't into that.
You weren't into it, yeah.
I was a tree hugger, and I liked fresh water. I liked the outside, but I wasn't gonna.
Yeah, you either kind of like got to get a PhD and be a professor, or you have to work for an oil company or something.
Yeah, I was right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I just said, well, if I were to do it over again, maybe it's journalism. And, I studied computers as well a little bit, but mostly just the rocks.
Mm-hmm. How did you get into cybersecurity? Just teach yourself, take some classes?
Well, I did study some advanced computer systems at university for geophysics and things like that. And then I really kind of got into it in the late 90s. Designed a thing called World Tour that promoted study abroad programs for universities. So you could walk into a kiosk at a library, university library or college, and you could look at countries and see what study abroad programs were available from a month to 3 months or whatever. or you could look at curriculum, and see what countries were available for that particular, area of study.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I sold that for $20,000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You just built this yourself and
Yeah.
sold it?
Yeah, it's called World Tours.
Nice. Who bought it? Like some school or something?
This company out of South Africa.
Okay. Interesting.
And then I did another one when I was living in New York City. I went to I took professional classes with New York University in international relations. So I worked at the UN in Geneva for about a month and a month and a half in New York at the UN. And then I also designed a software program for conflict mitigation and creating memorandums of understanding and everything called Focus Center.
Uh-huh.
And then the UN adopted that.
Oh, really?
And that was in about, when was that? 98. Yeah.
98?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What languages were you using?
For Focus Center, it was Lotus Notes.
Oh, I don't know. I've heard of it.
And then after that, I moved from Vancouver to Puerto Rico. I lived in Puerto Rico for a year.
Dude. Yeah, I've been to Puerto Rico like at least twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, my mom likes going to Puerto Rico, so we've been a couple times. It's really cool.
That's nice.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful.
There's the castle and the fortress, right?
Yeah.
Like
Old San Juan.
Old San Juan, yeah.
Yeah.
Old San Juan's beautiful. I
El
love it.
Convento is the convent downtown in Old San Juan.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful courtyard and everything.
I tripped at and walked around, did the whole castle tour.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
The blue tile on the roads and everything. It's very pretty.
Yeah. Man, it's gonna be a while before we can travel and visit other places
it's
again.
such a bummer.
Yeah.
I'm just.
I'm thinking maybe I'll because it's funny. I was talking about like I want to do some traveling soon. This was before COVID hit, and like starting to really consider it and like how long could I do it? Blah blah blah. And then COVID hit. But now I'm thinking maybe I'll just check out the national parks in the United States because I mean they're still open for the most part. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then the United States has some of the most beautiful landscape in the world, and so it's like yeah, I'd love to go to these other countries because I live in the United States, but also I haven't seen most of even the United States. So
yeah,
just start there.
Remember Langley?
No. It's Langley.
He lived in the courtyard at Soco. He was the one that bought the ambulance and refit it for a camper.
Oh, he did? No, cool. A lot of people are doing that. Like the vans are getting really popular. Yeah.
Yeah, Barbie and I are going to buy one.
You're going to buy one of the vans?
Something.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly.
And so you're going to move to Asheville and you're going to have the van and maybe travel around?
Yeah, here and there occasionally.
Mm-hmm. And she's remote now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's great to have both people be remote because if one's remote and one's not, then like you have all this flexibility that you can't really use.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, you can be like, all right, see, I'm going to go to Hawaii. You can stay and work here.
Yeah, that doesn't fly, man. I'm like jonesing for it. So actually I found the job and I emailed on the website for the company. They said, if you're interested, contact us. I'm like, I'm interested. My name is Barbara. And I didn't tell her,
Mm-hmm.
And then they got a reply, we'd be very interested to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
I go, So I go, hey, Barbie girl, come here, take a look at this. And yeah, so that was about 3 weeks ago, and she was offered a job yesterday.
Cool.
Yeah, which she'll, it's 100% remote. It was like for me when I left Hawaiian Airlines, I called my handler and said, get me a job in Austin. So,
your handler, like
find a job.
Yeah.
Those
sound
people.
like a CIA agent.
No, just find me a job.
Yeah.
I want to go to Austin. Find me something.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, Lockheed Martin. 2 weeks later,
Mm-hmm.
so I actually flew in on Halloween.
Yeah.
From Hawaii to LA, and then LA is supposed to be to Austin. But that was when you had those horrendous Halloween storms.
I don't remember that.
Remember Austin Bergstrom Airport was closed down for 3 days.
When was this?
October of 2016, Halloween.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but it was. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to fly into Houston and catch the bus up, and it took forever. And then we were married 2 Halloweens later. You remember that?
Yeah, yeah. I remember that was a great party. I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
Gotta love the Driscoll, man. Gotta do a plug for the Driscoll.
The
Governor
awesome.
Suite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was a fun party, and it was fun wearing costumes.
Masquerade,
and stuff.
yeah. Halloween party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've seen changes just in the time I've been here, and some for the better and some not so.
What would you say not so?
Some of the loss of genuine businesses that have really been here and really, have kind of like the spirit or the
Austin spirit,
the legacy, the longevity, the history, and sometimes, for some of them like Threadgills or wherever.
Oh yeah, I forgot when Threadgills went under.
It's just places that go bye-bye.
We're going to see more of that because with COVID, only the companies that have a big bank account can afford to stay through this, like the local mom and pop shops. They're done.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to do at this point. What can be done?
I don't know what can be done. I feel like there's just going to be a whole bunch of bankruptcy and job loss. And of course, the market will adapt and shift and people will get different jobs, but it's going to be a while before little mom and pop shops and stuff like that get built back up. I mean, maybe.
I think there needs to be an increase in education and really try to, I don't know how it happens where we're not going to buy shirts anymore that's not made in the U.S. So people have to learn how to make shirts, or do we go to a total information, or do we grow hemp in Texas? We all just, does the state of Texas go, all right, every person can get an acre.
Yeah.
And here's free seeds. And you chop down the hemp and you can make a house with it or grind the oil. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Do we do a land reform? Do we just say, here's a free bit of land and we'll help you put a house on it?
There's a lot of land
and
in
we'll
Texas.
Get you smart. We can work you up and get you smarter.
I don't know. And it's funny, when this all hit, I was like, all right, the Austin housing market's getting insane. It's super expensive. And also, I heard that Central East Austin was the fastest gentrifying area in the entire country, which the office that I worked at was in Central East Austin. And I mean, I would see houses go up and down and like I would walk around the neighborhoods on my break and it's like, there was a house there yesterday and now it's destroyed. And then weeks later, there's a brand new house. I mean, it was right. I could see it happen over days.
Yeah.
So I believe that probably is the fastest gentrifying area. But it's like you have these small lots and it's like a $500,000 house, I mean.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, all right, well, so is everyone going to be exiting cities? But I don't think it's necessarily working that way. I think what's happening is people are leaving the larger cities like New York City and LA. And I think a lot of them are coming here because Austin's got a lot of hype. It's not as crowded as those big cities. So, and I've talked to a couple people that are looking for houses right now and prices, it's not gone down. Like it's still really hard.
Yeah.
I know someone that put an offer on a house and was beaten out by 2 cash offers. And she even went over the top of their asking price, but still got beat out by 2 cash buyers. So it's like, damn, how do you get a house if you're dealing with? I think it's people from San Francisco that are trying to get out of San Fran. I've heard the streets. People are leaving there, and they're probably coming here. Because this is a tech city, and they got a lot of money because they get paid a lot because the price to live there is super high. Mm-hmm. So it's just interesting. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like the Austin housing market is probably only gotten more expensive.
And I wonder where the top is. Like,
what is the top?
How you've got $120,000 worth of material in a house. And it's on like just a dirt lot, and it's going for $800,000.
Yeah, it's insane.
And where's it going to go? Is it going to go to 1.5 million? I mean, where's it going to go?
It's just a matter of how many
people. Is our economy that thriving that just real estate will always go up, or is it going to crash and burn like it's done historically on a cyclical pattern?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how high is it going to go until it just goes, you know what? We ran out of selling stuff in San Francisco. Nobody's buying in San Francisco. So that means we can't sell in San Francisco. So that means we can't buy in Austin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I feel like it's got a lot of, I used to think like this can't continue. These housing prices are ridiculous. But then I think about a place like San Francisco. It's like, well, it's just a matter of how many people want to move there.
Not
and how much
anymore.
money. How much money do people have? Not many anymore, yes.
Right.
Maybe in 2 years, you get a cheaper house in San Francisco and you get in Austin.
Oh, shit.
Maybe we'll have to move to San Francisco
Yeah.
and the San Franciscans will be here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, flip the pancake. Who knows, man?
Flip the pancake.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's predicated upon someone wanting to live over there, and they want to get out.
Yeah, they want to get out for sure.
Somebody wants to get in.
Yeah.
And they want to pay some mo. And I think that there's a lot more telecommuting now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I hope that trend continues to go up.
I hope so as well.
So many people.
The lessons are hydrocarbon burn. You know, I mean, the skies are prettier.
Yeah,
not as much smog.
People are happier.
People are happier.
Fucking fighting traffic to get to work, to be at the office for 8 hours, and then drive home.
And, you know, and it's just anyone, you could do it right from your place is nonsense.
To me, it pisses me off. It's like, to even ask me to come into the office is insane. It's like,
right.
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck is the point?
Right.
You just like pissing people off and wasting their time?
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I've worked remote now for 3.5 years and 100% remote. And I'm fortunate that I have a skill set that I can do that. You know, I mean, that's part of just being old.
That's part of being old.
You should be kind of smart. You know, I mean, there's like you're way smarter than I am, and you're younger.
I am.
Son of a gun.
I don't know.
But you know, I mean, fortunately, you know, I've been lucky enough to get smarter as I got older. So, but I feel concerned for kids graduating high school. Like, well, what about the graduating class, man? The graduated, what the heck?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have an audacious high school graduation party or anything like that. But, I mean, I didn't go to a prom or anything like that. But still, I had friends, and we could all go out and go places, right? I went to high school in St. Petersburg, Florida.
That's awesome.
Did junior high school.
That was a big spring break spot for the families that lived in the town that I grew up in. A lot of them went to St. Pete.
Yeah.
My fam didn't, but a lot of people still.
Yeah, it's a great area. I went to junior high school in Butte, Montana, and then high school in St. Petersburg, Florida, and then college in Missoula. But it was wonderful to just, you know, be in high school.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't it the great times?
I kind of hated it and I kind of liked it. It was a mix. I couldn't wait to get out. I mean, I basically stopped going to school. I almost didn't graduate because I missed so many days.
All you got to do is show up for homeroom to get counted, man. It's a 15-minute class.
I used to, when my parents got divorced and I was just living with my mom, I used to take we had this country house that we were renting and there was a barn. I would take my Jeep and park it in the barn and then go to bed. Yeah. So when she left, she would think that I was at school. I was just upstairs sleeping.
Chilling out.
And I had a bunch of people call me in. It came to a point where they're like, you're this close to not graduating because you've missed so many days of school.
Yeah.
And I was doing co-op too, to where you could work after school.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of times I really would work. I worked for this construction company, but sometimes I didn't have to. So I just leave school at noon and just go home, you know?
Yeah.
But I just kind of like retired. Like my senior year, I was like, I'm done with this. So I'm not even gonna go.
There's not much learning going on up in there. There's not much learning, you know, and that's my fault, you know, because there was learning available, but I just wasn't into it.
It's tough because the way that they teach is rote memorization. It's not creative problem solving. It's like, can you look at this and memorize it and spew it back out? That's not fun. Yeah. Of course, that's boring.
Yeah, you're looking at a molecular formula on a page, and you're like, no, I got to take a test on this. What the heck? You know?
Yeah, I've seen some teachers that they try to present an interesting problem to solve, and like how could you calculate the weight of this thing in order to do something? And it's like present the issue, make it interesting.
Yeah,
and,
the
and
real
then
world.
show them how, okay, now we can use this to solve this problem.
Right.
Instead of just like, you just memorize this for no
page
reason.
284.
Yeah, and then having teachers that like, they just read from the book. Like a history class, I had a teacher that would just literally just read from the book. And it's like, how is that engaging? And also, why don't you just record that?
Right.
And then no one has to pay you anymore.
Right. I don't have to sit in this uncomfortable chair. It's busting my backside just sitting here.
So I don't know. Our school systems are fucked up from
Eat nasty
the ground up.
food. You know, I mean, not much nutrition going on in that cafeteria.
Yeah.
You know,
I just think that we should do, I've always been interested in education. I think we should do school way different. Like in college,
I do too.
Me and a friend made it. We made videos for a math course in college and put it on the internet. And to this day, people still sometimes pay for it.
For real?
And that goes to show how fucking bad. It's like 2 students can make videos that are basically videos of what you would learn in the book, but it's, you see it on a screen. You pay $40. You pay $200 for the fucking book.
I know, it's so lame.
You could just buy this course that we made and not even buy the book. And there's practice tests on there. You take them, it grades you. Then it shows you a video solution of each problem. And it's like, that's just me and my buddy or my friend hacking around. That's how I learned to program. And it's like, if I can do that, then you have all these resources. You have this university. You have all this funding. These people are paying thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Why should 2 students be able to make something that can compete with your education?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's insane. And
it is. It's very confusing, and it makes no sense whatsoever. I came up with a curriculum for middle school kids that was focused around food. So you would learn geography and geology and agriculture and mathematics and fractions and chemistry and nutrition, all from around a book that had like recipes. So you'd have Thai food. So you'd look at the area of Thailand that had, why do they have shrimp? You know, the environmental aspects of it. They've got the ability to grow the peppers, and the rice, and this is what's going on. And then as you cook it all together, it forms changes molecularly. And you've got a recipe that says, okay, 1/8 this and 3/4 that for 5 people. Now you've got 11 people. How do you change the fractions to make sure you have the right ratios?
That's cool.
Right? So you learn the fractions and the ratios, and you learn taste, and you learn about the culture, and you learn about the environment, and you learn about the geography and the geology and the trade. And you can do that whether they're in the Congo or Moroccan food or Italian food, or, you know.
That's cool. I mean, that kind of reminds me of what I was saying about this teacher who would present like an interesting problem and then then get you engaged first.
And then what I wanted to be able to do is that a student that's taking that course, with their family, they're able to look at certain recipes that they thought they would like, and they can order all the ingredients for that recipe, like the turmeric or the cracked mustard seed, just enough to make that dish. And it would go to their house. Then they would add whatever protein, like a chicken or a fish or whatever. But it'd have all the spices and all the goodies. So then the student, the kid, could actually make dinner for themselves and their family and learn about the nutrition and what those types of spices does nutritionally in your body, if it adds zinc or phosphates or whatever, right? Iron or niacin or and how those herbs and vegetables pull the nutrients up from the soil, and why it's so important to have really good soil and not just artificial fertilizer.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I thought about doing that.
That's cool. I like it.
It's a freebie for anybody who wants to do it, man. You go for it.
It may be hard to implement, but it's probably doable.
I think you can do it with the charter school. You're not going to do it from a state perspective. They move too slow. They're too cumbersome. There's too many pencils in the way. A lot of erasers. But when you get down to a school that can move fast, and it's all on a tablet anyway.
One idea that I've always wanted to do and just never have is it's around education. It's I think a lot of people, one, they don't know what they want to do because it's hard to know what you want to do, and you're really young in your 20s. If you're in your early 20s, you kind of don't really know who you are.
Right.
But I think there needs to be something that combines statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and you can get on there, and a lot of people don't do this. I feel like everyone should recommend this to their child. It's like if you're looking to go to college and you're looking into what career you want, you first should check the BLS because they'll tell you projected job growth of any particular field. So you can say, all right, these 10 fields are growing. I'm going to have a high chance of getting a job in this field. What of these 10 do I think would be most interesting? So first base it on like likelihood of getting a job and the salary that you want. Then narrow from that selection of your interest. But the application would be something like that someone starts using in high school, and it has like a mixture of different personality tests, Myers-Briggs, whatever else. I'd have to look and kind of find out which ones are the best. They would take these and maybe retake them because your personality changes over time. Then it would connect the results of that test to the BLS and say, look, you seem like you would like these type of jobs. Here's these type of jobs, and here's how much they're expected to grow and the salary that you might make. So you can start making decisions now based on your personality and based on the current economy, and just kind of giving people more direction in their life. And it's like, because people pick careers based on not well thought out criteria or just kind of what they think is interesting, which is cool. You should follow something you're interested in.
But the thing is, if you only have a universe of, there's 1,000 options, but you've only seen 23, and you think that 23 is your entire universe to choose from, when really there's 1,000.
Yeah.
So you've got to be exposed to all those thoughts, all of it, and that's how to help someone that's 15 or 17 or 22 or whatever, see all of those things and really get a handle on it. It's hard because there's too much chatter if you're on the internet and just looking. So what I've always tried to do or recommend, certainly for people that are 18, 20, 17, 27, whatever, go to the college in your town and go into the library and go to the periodical section where they have the professional magazines. And these are the ones that the professors and everyone at the university, they have like free, they can get the subscriptions for free. So it could be a magazine that costs $1,000 a year, but it's free. And you can just walk into the university and into the library, and they've got hundreds of these periodicals from every conceivable type of profession.
Yeah.
And it's going on right now. It's a magazine. So it's like this quarter or this month, or semi-annual or weekly. And you can take a look at it and see what's going on right now, whether it be on the pharmaceutical side, construction management, horticulture, airplanes, chemistry, it can be mathematics, it can be anything, all these professional journals that you wouldn't be able to find if you were just tooling around the net.
That's cool.
And they've got the place, it's kind of like a Starbucks or whatever, not really Starbucks, but a Barnes and Noble. I mean, they've got lounges you can sit on. It's nice, go to a college library and go into the periodical section and walk around and look at all the stuff and grab 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 of them and sit down and go through them and see what piques your interest.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. But one worry I have and one problem that I think exists is that now, as we have more options than people used to have, and I've seen studies where they show that people are less happy with more choices. So if you present someone 3 choices of like a candy flavor and they pick one, they're going to be more confident that they picked the correct one because they only had 2 or 3 options. If you give them 30, they pick one and they're like, I don't know, maybe this was the right one, but like I might have picked this other one. And it's just kind of like, it's a psychology thing. And I think the very same problem exists. And that's why so many people take so long to pick a career. They're beating around the bush, jumping from here to there. And it's like, if they only had 3 choices, they would just pick one and then they would just do it and be like, that was a good choice.
farmer, a farmer, a logger, or a boat captain.
I'm gonna go with boat captain.
You'll go with boat captain.
yeah. That's a good choice.
I'm gonna grab a beer.
Yeah, I got you. I'll grab one.
I like the ability to look at the pharmaceutical stuff going on right now. So let's say that you're a senior going to UT this fall in biochemistry, and you're going to buy that book for $375. Rent
Insane.
it or whatever.
Yeah,
$375.
Yeah.
You know, and it was written 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Versus if you go to the library right now and you pull up that journal, it costs $2,000 a year, for a subscription to it. But you can't check the magazine out.
That's insanely expensive. That's how much it costs to get these periodicals?
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, some of them are like super pricey. Some are less, but yeah, the real pro. And so you can say, oh, this is how remdesivir is doing in Wales right now.
Yeah.
So it can show, all right, this is where we're at with SARS-CoV-2.
Mm-hmm. I hope the vaccine comes out soon and they can administer it.
Have you ever gotten a vaccine in your life?
I got the flu vaccine once.
Yeah.
And I kind of meant to do it every year after that, but I mostly just kind of got lazy and didn't feel like going to CVS.
Yeah, I've never gotten one.
Yeah. I didn't get the flu that year. Last year I got the flu really early on. I was planning on getting my vaccine, but I got it like before really the flu season. So I was like, you could still get a vaccine because I could have gotten the flu again, but I figured I already got it and I only got it once.
Yeah. Yeah, I never get a vaccine and I never get the flu.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to have a go at the old COVID. Why not?
The vaccine?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I agree. I mean, some people are a little worried at how fast they're going to push it out,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, vaccines are pretty safe, right? I know this is debated, but I mean, it's just a small sample of the virus that your body then builds antibodies to. I mean, how dangerous could that really be?
It's I mean, I'm not a biochemist, but I'd say, see. Why not?
Inject me. Let's find out.
Let's just go for it.
I was also thinking about being lazy and just being like, well, I'll let everyone else get vaccinated, and then I won't really need a vaccine because the virus will...
There'd be herd immunity or whatever.
Yeah, and just have less odds of getting it. But I don't know. I'll probably get the vaccine when it comes out. I might wait a little bit.
Yeah, I'd probably wait. I don't know.
A couple months. Yeah.
I don't think we'll have one until maybe February anyway. I think we got 6 months slog.
So, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
I mean, some people have made some progress. I think Moderna had some really good clinical trials.
Yeah.
And then their stock went up quite a bit when that came out. 'Cause it was like 10 out of 10 successful antibodies with not too many side effects.
Wow.
So they're going to continue pushing forward on that. And I don't think there's several other companies that have had some successful tests too.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of smart people working on it.
That's what I said when this first started.
That's
I was like
major Momo.
I was like, because people are worried. It's like, yeah, how bad is it going to be? Is it going to go away? And it, to me, of course, I mean, it's too big of a problem, and there's too many smart people trying to solve it. It's just a matter of time before somebody cracks it.
Yep, absolutely,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So where do you think you'll go if you went to travel around the U.S. for a bit? You'd like get like a little van or like a little Winnebago? Or...
I'd probably just use my Jeep. I've seen people convert their Jeeps kind of like that van style thing to where they have like they can go out for 5-7 days without a resupply.
Right.
And that's all I would really
That's
need.
all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
And instead of having the expense of, I mean, I already have the Jeep. Why buy something else?
Yeah, that'd be the great adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, do I still need internet? Am I still going to work? Blah, blah, blah.
Right. Yeah, that's my concern as well, is just I'd love to be able to say, okay, Barbara, let's go to Montana for a month. And I guess what I would do is go to an Airbnb kind of, or just a place, not a hotel room, but just a place where they go, oh, you got a houseboat? It's $900 for a month. And you got free fishing poles.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring the worms. So hey, Barbie, we're having fish tonight.
Yeah.
And just go to or in Maine or, you can go to these spots too, or camping as well, and just, post up and have the tents they have now are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, they are.
I had worked for Fannie Mae in Washington D.C. for about a 7-month contract, and man, at the end of it, I was just it's a nice thing about taking contracts. You just know that there's an end zone, and you just spike the ball and go, I'm out of here, right? And so I did my work at Fannie Mae, and then went camping in North Carolina for a month, camping and kayaking, and just posted up at a nice campsite and had the tents and the fire. And it was in Nantahala by the Appalachian Trail, and very pretty spot and kind of nurturing after all that time under the fluorescent lights in the basement, working, and you got to have the fresh water and, the fresh air. So it'd be good for you, man. I can't wait for you to, you got to go for it. You got to go.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Not getting any younger.
You could do it now, or you can do it when you're a year older or 2 years older, 5 years older. I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like people just, if you don't travel, things just kind of happen and you end up not doing it.
On the one hand, it's nice if there's you and a significant other, but on the other hand, it's kind of, complicated.
If you have the significant other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing. It would be nice to have someone to go with, but it'd also be nice to go by yourself.
I say go by yourself for a while. Yeah. Just do one tour on your own.
Yeah.
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 I'd say it'd be a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you'd have to let her drive your Jeep.
I'd be fine with that.
Really? Kick it in the back seat.
Yeah. I can take naps.
Yeah, you can take naps. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to take the Jeep tomorrow to our Hidden Falls Adventure Park. It's Marble Falls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I guess they got a bunch of Jeep trails out there. You can do dirt bike trails. They have different trails depending on your vehicle.
Right.
I don't know the size of it, but it seems really big. So
far out.
They're like, yeah, just show up and we'll look at what you're driving and
nice.
We'll ask you what your experience is and we'll tell you to go that way.
Right on.
So yeah, Abe's gonna go with me too. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be hot because I've got the top and the doors off, Yeah. And so AC doesn't work that well, but I don't care, and I don't think Abe's gonna care either. I mean, whatever.
That's the point. Of just go out and get in the dirt, and cruise around on it. I had a Toyota Land Cruiser wagon when I lived in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
We used to cruise just over grasslands and bust out rabbits and then jump out of it and start shooting with our pistol. And these jackrabbits, they're not your domesticated rabbits. These bad boys are used to running away from foxes and hawks and owls and wolves, and they can get up and get after it. So you very rarely hit one.
You very rarely. You have to be a good lucky shot to hit one.
Totally lucky. Yeah. But you just peel off a whole clip shooting at these rabbits with a sense of purpose, hauling ass. And then we laugh about it, get back in the car, drive around.
Yeah.
And then we would go to prairie dog villages as well, where there'd be 1,000 prairie dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I had this 50 caliber muzzle loader, the old, black powder down the barrel with a marble, and wad it up, and lean it over the hood of the car and be a prairie dog 200 yards out there. And they're kind of like on a pitcher's mound, right? It's a big, like a pitcher's mound. There's prairie dog. 1, 2, 3, and it hit the mound. It wouldn't even get close to the prairie dog, but it freak out and go down. Yeah,
it wouldn't even get close to it.
You count and see if you hit the mound. Let alone the prairie dog.
Was it super inaccurate?
Yeah, it's windy and it's way out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you did it on purpose and
to be
far out there. And it's a muzzle loader, just iron sights.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, Montana, and did a lot of biking, or both motorcycle off road, motorcycle enduro stuff. I had a road bike too, a couple nice bikes. Montana's great because you can no speed limit.
No speed limit.
No speed limit. Bro.
A lot of open road.
A lot of open road and no speed limits because they did never. Well, at the time I was there, they never took federal funding for their roads, so they didn't have to put federal mandates on speed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's how that works?
Safe and proper, you can do 140.
It's crazy.
I got pulled over on my bike doing like a 120, and it was a $10 ticket because I was 5 miles from town.
$10?
$10. No points. $10.
That's funny.
It's just,
I've never been into motorcycles. I've thought about it before, but I kind of feel like
you don't want one around Texas. You don't want one in this area.
I feel like I'd kill myself too. That's my main concern.
Dirt bikes are fun, but not road bike.
My dad brought home a moped once when I was either in like middle school or high school, probably around 15. And I immediately ran us both right into a tree. We had to bail out. He was like, this shit's going back.
Yeah.
But yeah, motorcycles. I mean, it's also just like my stepdad rides motorcycles and my mom goes with him. I think it's cool and all, but I just think it's a little scary. Like if you get hit, man,
you're done.
Fucking done, dude.
Yeah, you're done.
And people get wrecks all the time.
There's too much traffic here. I mean, I was lucky that Montana is just wide open. There's nobody.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd have to wreck yourself, and
pretty much.
But if you wreck going 120, yeah.
Well, yeah. It's just the bike's meant for it, and it'll do it. There's nothing you can see for miles.
Yeah, there's no good reason for you to wreck, other than just being a
mechanical, just a mechanical failure of some sort. But more people live in Austin than in the entire state of Montana, and it's basically the size of California.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, I've looked into Montana and looked at pictures. It looks amazing.
It's got all kinds of geography, you know. But yeah,
and I think there's some appeal. I feel like when I get a little older, I'm gonna want to live somewhere like that where there's not that many people. You know,
I'd say you can just get something and live there part of the year.
It's true,
right? You can just post up and
because it shouldn't be too expensive if there's so much land.
And you can kind of cherry pick the season, so you can go out there if you want to. You want to go snow skiing for a month or so. You bounce on out and go snow skiing.
Yeah,
and then you're done with that. And you could probably get a place out there for $20,000, something like that.
Damn,
and then get a place down south or a boat. And just camp at Lake Havasu or something.
I've got a friend that lives in Minnesota, and what I didn't realize about Minnesota, he lives in Minneapolis. I went to visit him, and he bought a cabin out on one of the lakes. Yeah. They call it the land of lakes.
Right, 10,000 lakes.
Yeah. And he's saying, all right, if we're going to go out to the cabin, we got to leave now because everyone's going to be going out to their cabins to go to the lake. And I'm like, this is bullshit. There's no way that everyone's going to be like Exodus, like we're all going to the lake. And I mean, he wasn't joking. I mean, like so many people drive out to their lake cabin. It's the thing there.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Affordable property. Yeah. I mean, it's a small payment he has to make every month to have that cabin. It's a nice cabin on one of the many lakes. There's so many lakes.
It's fun. It rejuvenates the soul.
Yeah. It was really fun going out there.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's really cool to just be able to like own a property that's basically, it's a campground kind of, but it's a cabin. You got running water, you got AC.
Yeah.
And you got your little fire pit, and you got the lake right out there. He's got a pier you can walk out on.
Yeah, it's nurturing. It kind of rebalances everything out.
Yeah.
So, and my thought really is rather than have one place that costs $400,000 or $300,000. Have like 4 places that cost $60,000.
Still got to be doing pretty well to pull that off.
Well, total payments might be like $2,000 a month.
Yeah. That's really not too bad. As long as, I mean, they're all good investments. And
well, I'd like to put some yurts up and do some Airbnb.
I mean, shit, that's El Cosmico and Marfa. You ever been to Marfa?
I have not.
Yeah, I went to Marfa, and we stayed at El Cosmico, which is like a very popular campground there.
Yeah.
And just a bunch of yurts. So we had the couple that we went with, this was years ago, I went with my friend Jack and his girlfriend at the time. They stayed in a camper, like a trailer camper.
Yeah.
My girlfriend at the time, we stayed in the teepee, and they had a little propane fire pit there in Marfa. I brought my telescope. We set it up, look at the moon.
Nice.
They've got these old school hot tubs at El Cosmico where literally you get in the tub and they bring wood and they put it in the heater and they set it on fire. And literally it's wood heated.
We used to have one of those in Montana. Yeah.
Super cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah. So I thought Marfa was neat. I mean, I think it's probably a little overhyped. I mean, it's a very small town with not much there. El Cosmico's pretty cool. But one of the reasons I wanted to go is because apparently it's got really good view of the stars.
Yeah.
And you can see the Milky Way.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, when we went, I mean, I set my telescope up and the moon looked really cool, but it was a bit cloudier than normal. So we didn't get great views of the stars.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is you can hit Marfa and then go hit Big Bend because you're already like almost to Big Bend.
Yeah,
so I recommend if you're going to go to Big Bend or Marfa, you might as well just do both. Stop in Marfa for a bit, then hit Big Bend. We went horseback riding in Big Bend. That was beautiful. It was really nice. Yeah, it was a nice little trip.
It's one of the few state parks or national parks, that is, that I haven't been to. I've been to almost every one, but I haven't been to Big Bend. I've been to the McDonald Observatory in Davis Mountains in Fort Davis, which is not far from Marfa, really, but it's up in the mountains. It's at like 5,000-6,000 feet up. And
I've always wanted to go to an observatory.
Yeah, the McDonald, that's like the UT, University Observatory.
Do you have to drive way up?
Yeah, man. Way up in the mountain.
And was it fucking amazing?
Yeah. I camped out up there. I did 3 days. I just camped out of my car, did the car camping. And it was many years ago when they had the Hale-Bopp comet came through about the mid-'90s. And I was doing some work for computer work for General Telephone, setting up some of their network systems. And I was in San Angelo. And then Hale-Bopp was coming through, and it was a lunar eclipse with a full moon. So I hopped in my red sports car that I rented for the occasion and went to the grocery store and got provisioned up for camping, and just drove it up to the top of the mountain by the McDonald Observatory. There, and it was like the twin comets, Hale-Bopp. It was amazing. And then the full moon with a lunar eclipse with Hale-Bopp going on. It was off the chain, and it was beautiful, beautiful stars. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I love stars, and it sucks how every city has so much light pollution, man. I want to end up in a place where I can just look up and the stars are immaculate. Like, I don't know, maybe Idaho. I imagine Montana, a lot of Montana's like that.
Northern Lights and everything.
Yeah. I want to go see the Northern Lights, too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Like, the best places to see them is, Canada and Iceland?
Yeah, I saw them in Alaska and Canada and in Montana.
Nice.
I've seen them, yeah.
You got any good traveling stories?
Sure.
Give me a traveling story.
Okay. Give me a where or when, or give me tell where or when. Like pick a
the Caribbean
country or the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I got $5,000 to repossess a sailboat. Me and my buddy Cece, we had to notify the Coast Guard. This dude, he there was a boat for sale in Tortola, British Virgin Islands, and it was the sailboat. It was like a 40-footer. It was on the hard. It was in the marina, but it was up on, getting the bottom redone.
So it was up on land.
Yeah, it was on the hard. And this dude wrote a hot check, and by the time the check had bounced, he had the boat put in the water and sailed off.
He knew his checks was bullshit.
Yeah.
So,
and it was like a year trying to find. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't turned on to it by then. My roommate CC, he had like a private investigator license and everything, but company contacted him, said, "Yo, find our boat." So CC I used to do odd jobs for him, like PI stuff, like just odd stuff. And this one was, "Hey, Matty, help me with this boat," because I was a sailor and he didn't, So we happened to find the boat, and so I hopped on it, and there's a Springer Spaniel doggy, going.
Yeah.
Well, you're going with. Either throw the Springer Spaniel overboard or put him in the head, you know. So the old Springer Spaniel goes in the head, and off we go from St. Thomas over to St. John.
Mm-hmm.
They came out and saw that their boat was gone, along with their Springer Spaniel, and rented an airplane, like a 150 Cessna, cruised around, spotted us. It was me and my buddy Kurt.
They rented a plane to find you?
Yeah.
This guy can't afford a boat, but he's renting a plane?
Right.
Was that a hot check too?
Yeah, so the next day I gave him his dog back.
Oh, that was nice of you.
And we kept the boat.
Yeah. Take the dog. We're keeping the boat. You didn't buy it.
Yeah. So this one. Funny story about the Caribbean.
What about Hawaii? You got any stories in Hawaii?
Rainbows all the time.
Rainbows all the time?
Rainbows, yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Rainbows, lots of rainbows. Lots of, pretty water, big ocean, amazing wildlife, great scuba diving, great surfing, good friends. Yeah, I like Hawaii. Any really crazy stuff? Not really. I was pretty much on, some wonderful sailing.
Mm-hmm.
Some flying. I used to, my other neighbor at La Mariana, where I had Perseverance, my 36-footer. My neighbor was a retired Hawaiian Airlines pilot. When he retired, he lived on his 40-footer right next to Perseverance, and so we were very good friends. And he bought soaring planes, like the gliding planes, where you get pulled up with a Cessna or whatever. You get pulled up with a plane,
What's
and then
a
they
Cessna?
release you. It's like a little single engine plane that pulls up the other plane.
Plane pulls up the other plane? What's the purpose of that? Why does it have to pull up the other plane?
Because it doesn't have an engine.
Oh, does it? It pulls it up and then it just flies with no engine? How do you land?
Carefully.
Do you land on water?
No, you land on a airstrip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so you've got a cable or a rope between like the two-person Cessna and the glider plane. So, and you get pulled up, you go up to about 2,000 feet, and then you release the line from the glider plane, soaring plane.
Yeah.
And then the Cessna breaks off and goes back and lands. And then you're just up there, la, 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 stick and rudder, just gliding.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I used to do that a lot.
So how do you know, like, does it ever come to a point where, like, oh, I have to land, or do you just kind of start flying and then,
sure.
you just end your glide by just going down?
Yeah. I would only go up when it was pretty windy. As long as there's wind, you can fly.
You can fly, and then landing is just a matter of just
forcing
down.
It down. Yeah, just pushing it down. You've got to actually force it to land.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't want to.
It doesn't want to.
So you got to get freaky with it.
That's funny.
So, but I used to do that a lot too. That was beautiful.
That sounds fun. I've never flown before.
Yeah, it's fun. I've flown lots of single engine aircraft.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. My friend's dad, I guess he would fly to work. He worked in a different state.
Wow.
He was a doctor.
Really?
Yeah. He would fly to work and land and go to work and then fly home.
That's all right.
Yeah. Sounds like an interesting way to get to work.
Yeah.
It's like a 45-minute commute, but in the air or something. I don't know.
Right, trippy.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'd rather just have a chauffeur. I think I'd rather have somebody pick me up. I can kick it in the back seat versus having to fly.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, he loved flying. He loves flying.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? We're over an hour.
So a little bit more. All right. Another traveling story or something else? What do you want to hear?
Whatever you think is the most interesting. Hit me.
Most interesting?
Could be a traveling story, or it could be totally just not anything.
Yeah, could be philosophy.
Sure, I like philosophy.
I remember the first time I drove across the country.
Is this when you say across the country from
Miami to Seattle?
From Miami, oh yeah, that's across the country.
Yeah. had a Mazda RX-7.
Nice.
And I had been living in the Caribbean. I was teaching windsurfing at the Rockefeller Resort at Caneel Bay on St. John.
By the way, windsurfing seems so badass. How old were you when you were teaching windsurfing?
23, something like that.
Awesome.
24, yeah. About 24.
Did you meet any chicks?
Uh-huh. One or two. Actually, my girlfriend was from South Africa, Elena. So we met, she was on the Olympic fencing team.
Oh, damn.
And I had fenced in college and was a pretty good fencer.
Dude, I've thought fencing always looked so badass. You did some fencing?
Yeah, I did fencing and kendo. I did collegiate fencing and kendo, with the sortie. And yeah, so Elena and I met because she was on the team and I was one of the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was my girlfriend.
Cool.
And then I left.
And then you moved like you always do.
Yeah, I moved to Lake Tahoe for the winter. I needed snow. I just felt like a French fry.
You really needed some snow?
I did.
God, who needs snow? What the fuck's wrong with you?
I just felt like a French fry, man. I'd been like teaching windsurfing, 5 days a week, and then crewing on a sailboat. I just got nailed by the sun every day.
Yeah, that's true.
And I just wanted like snow, mountains.
Nice.
So I drove the Mazda RX-7 from Miami to Seattle, and then dropped it off and started hitchhiking from Seattle down to Lake Tahoe.
You hitchhiked?
Yeah, from Seattle to Tahoe.
Damn.
And that was after a long road trip, man. I was wore out.
That's super ballsy. I've always thought hitchhiking was like, it seems so appealing because you can meet all these strangers, but it also just seems real dangerous. I mean, it's less dangerous as a male, but still. Did you get any weirdos?
Sure.
Kind of people.
Quite a few.
Because I would never pick up a hitchhiker. It's like, who does? Fucking weirdos.
What a weirdo. What a loser on the side of the road, man. Yeah, I was the loser. I probably hitchhiked over 1,000 miles, 2,000 miles.
No bad experiences?
No. I had fun experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had a couple kind of wild ones. It was one time I drove from Tampa to, I was going back to, I had spent the summer working in Florida. I was going back to university in the fall. So I drove a Rally Sport Camaro from Tampa to Seattle and dropped it off. And these were driverways where people would just need their car delivered. So I drove it, dropped it off, started hitchhiking back to Montana from Seattle. And this old geezer in the pickup truck picks me up kind of outside of Seattle, headed to Walla Walla.
Where's Walla Walla at?
It's eastern Washington, right on the Idaho border. I was going through the Nez Perce Indian Reservation that night. And he picked me up, and he had one of the old pickup trucks that has the camper in the back, right? Yeah. You can't get from the cab of the truck into the camper.
Yeah, you got to go around.
You got to go around. So he's like, man, I'm really tired. Can you drive?
He's like, all right. He's like, I'll hitchhike you, but you got to drive.
Yeah. So he pulls to the side of the road, and he gets out, and he gets in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm driving to Walla Walla, man, in his truck. And I was burned out. I had just driven from Tampa. And now I got this monster dinosaur, the wind blowing me sideways. And this guy's in the back sleeping.
You're just letting some stranger drive his truck, man, while he's sleeping?
Yeah, he goes in the back.
So much trust.
Yeah, and then, I left in Walla Walla. It took me all night to get through Idaho. And, and then into Missoula.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite a trip.
Nice.
But anyway, it's been fun, Justin, to come and chat with you. I would think that in partying, secret to longevity, keep breathing.
Keep breathing?
Keep breathing. Don't forget to travel.
Okay, the breathing part should be easy enough, I hope.
Yeah. But any other questions?
No, I enjoyed this. It was fun having
you on. It was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks.
All right.
All right, buddy.
See ya.